Oh
Yeah.
my!
Look at the portal.
Oh
Oh
my
shit!
dear!
Here we go again.
Was it just me, or are I hear quite a lot of different kinds of scream from the other side?
It's not just you.
Oh my! Oh, was that a cry for candy? I don't know. Could be either or.
I, for one, think that we should follow along with Moreau's idea. I think that if we're venturing into a place called the Domain of Dread, that perhaps we should go in fully rested and specifically more geared towards our more magically inclined users. I don't know how your resources are feeling, but I feel like we should go in fully rested and ready to go.
Can't be any worse
Yeah.
than hell.
It's called the Domain of Dread, and I'm not sure if hell had lots of food for us. I would
You'd be,
suggest stock up a lot of things that can be eaten for months and months and months. And if nothing else, oh my lord, what is that?
Chris is
Who's
dying.
glitching out?
I'm not sure if that portal is very stable based on that sound.
You read my mind.
Saying the Lord's word there, you.
Speaking
But yeah.
of which, Dog, what did you use? The round thingy that exploded into puff and smoke.
Thog, of course, trusting kobolds that she comes across with her previous experience, is going to pull out a couple. I'll send you the description separately. He's going to pull out a couple of spherical shapes that seem to have a small ring on the end that can be pulled. And Thog is going to, before handing them over, Thog is going to say, in order to generate the smoke, you're going to have to pull this ring. Please do not do this unless it is necessary and we are in a fight.
Do you think we can acquire more of those things?
I may have one or two spare for myself. Acquiring more may be a bit more tricky because they're quite pricey.
I don't think the price is necessarily a problem.
In that case, then, if you have some way of maybe manufacturing them or gaining them cheaper, then yes, they're always helpful.
Do you have a
Luckily, I've thought, and like Thog's, you're going to stroke her chin in a knowing way, and anyone looking at Thog is going to see that she's clearly put more than 5 minutes of thought into this, which is a lot for her, and say, I've thought about this, and I've come up with a cunning plan.
Dun dun dun.
Dun, dun,
What?
dun,
This worries me greatly.
dun, dun,
So
dun,
Thog's going to say, is there anyone here very good at telling lies to people who cast spells?
I mean, I'm somewhat of a performer, so I'm very good at putting on a bit of a show.
Right,
Not
then
sure
Thog's-
about the lies.
I'm terrible at that.
Right, perfect. Thog's going to pull out one more smoke grenade and give one to Moreau. And then, again, I'll send you the descriptions in a minute. But,
Cheers, Lloyd.
and then she's going to say, here's the cunning plan, and I think I've really, put a lot of thought into this. I really think you're going to like it. What you do, you know how a lot of spellcasters have a limited amount of magic per day, right? It's kind of like everyone seems to run out eventually, yeah?
Absolutely.
Okay. What you do is you hide it behind your clothes, and you shout something on the lines of smoke bomb, pyrotechnics, fog cloud, any of that low-level jazz that creates a big cloud of smoke that I've seen before. And when they go for that sweet, sweet counterspell, they'll waste it. Yeah, just go something on the lines of counterspell this, you fucking casual. And it won't work because these aren't magic, but they don't know that.
Oh, just similar to like a flamethrower?
Hell yeah.
What they call the burning hand, I think. That's what the thing was called in the arcane books.
Indeed. And Thog's gonna nod, like, I actually have that spell in my lit. I have access to that spell.
Oh, that is a fascinating one. But I
Indeed.
think before we go, I think we would like to acquire a little bit more resources just before we go.
Indeed. A nice long sleep would do, but hopefully if we can trick someone into wasting their counterspell, they seem to only be able to do it roughly every 6 seconds, but that should waste it for that 6 seconds, give us a chance to kick them.
If it's cover or concealment that you need, if you run out of those devices, I have something that works as a similar fashion. Should we need it?
Brilliant. Is it magic?
I don't know. All I know is that I ask either Stray for concealment, and she grants it to me.
Yeah, probably. And folks gonna like nod like she's seen some shit. Yeah, probably magic.
I think I have something similar as well. It's called Big Ass Rock.
Folks gonna point knowingly like, yes, I've seen that one before. That is an incredibly
Big-ass
effective
rock.
tactic. Yeah, I've often been the big ass rock for a kobold hiding behind me before, and a Thog goes to tap her nose knowingly she's gonna miss.
Oh, but have you seen this? And Tia pull out a foldable rock-looking kind of structure that's just made of very thin material.
Oh, you mean like paper mache?
Yeah,
Nice.
but empty from inside.
That's so good.
The trick is remembering to use all these tricks at the right time.
Don't
So
mind
why do
me,
you
I'm
think
just a lonely rock gamer here.
exactly? It's like and Thog's gonna be like, every time I've seen someone, run out of magic, rely on cantrips, get stuck inside, get stuck, grappled, restrained, and blinded all at the same time. Yes, that happened once. It's always been because they lacked a smoke grenade that nobody could parry.
I don't know, you're going to need a lot of smoke for that. I
Well,
don't
I
think
did
it's good
hear,
for your health.
I did hear one time there was this dog that fought a giant rat that let go of some sort of smoke attack, saved the day. So trust me, it works. If a dog can do it, anyone can.
That's quite a story.
But yeah, that's dogs all for having all jokes aside though, like that is the plan. Just fucking, waste your counter spell on this. Drops a smoke grenade.
Oh, I
I
wonder.
like it. I can respect that.
Thank you.
I appreciate the level of thought that's gone into that.
You know,
Me
on that thought,
hours.
on the thought that you just made, I wonder if we could create something. Uh, in terms of like snakes can sense heat or some kind of very interesting things that they use for sensory plates.
Yeah,
What if
maybe
we
you'll
could
take me.
make that into a goggles or something?
Oh,
Then you could fight inside the smoke, wouldn't you? As long as the other thing you had body heat or something.
that's very true. The smoke does not generate heat.
I think that's also very useful for pranking someone. Me, what?
Now that is you just Thog's struggling to keep up. You see her brain overheating a bit. Like, hang on a minute. what? And then, oh, but do you sure we have enough snakes?
Hmm. Where would we get so many snakes from?
Like, Lewis totally sees where we're going with this, but Thog just can't. She's 20% stupider than the average commoner. She can't keep up with that logic. Like,
In any way, it would function in the same way that you can see inside the snakes.
that's incredible. Everyone straps snakes to their eyes and they can see. My God.
Oh, that's also a possibility if you share the senses of someone. Oh, what if we have a familiar, someone who will control the familiar and see through the familiar, and then we can command the one that can't see using the familiar that they can see?
This is
That
getting
is ingenious
very
plan,
technical.
dog.
Vigil is currently looking at you both, kind of with a mix of, I don't know whether they're more or less intelligent than me, and that's why I can't keep up. Pure confusion on his face.
I think I was last at snakes on the eyes.
This is so hard for me because Lewis knows exactly what he wants to say, but Thog just can't keep up.
That's why I play intelligence character.
It's like completely out of character. Like, I'm totally getting that. Like, I'm completely fine. This is fine, but in character, it's like Thog's just trying to keep up by trying to sound like she's adding to the conversation.
Lewis?
Like maybe anyone who's not Tia, who's high charisma, can probably tell, or high wisdom can probably tell that, like, Thog's really struggling, but really enthusiastic if it means she can hit stuff more.
Lewis, if it makes you feel any better, Eve's about to go into Barovia, where her character has never been, but it's Eve. You won't be alone in that feeling.
Exactly. That's why I'm like,
Excellent.
why the fuck have I made this decision?
Well,
My character doesn't know what a terrible decision this is.
Oh, that's all right. If we go for a long rest, assuming that's fine with everybody, Thog will volunteer to tell a bedtime story of all the adventures she had in Barovia,
Oh god.
with all the, with all the travel and fights cut to the absolute minimum to focus on all the really nasty stuff that happened.
Oh, that sounds like a delight. I can definitely hear a different side of the story than what one of my siblings have told me.
Oh, don't you worry. A certain little mischievous munchkin will be featured heavily. And he has a box on his head.
Oh, a box on his head. Was that some kind of special device, or is it something very magical?
I think it was a device used to donate people who thought they were special, yes.
Oh, so a device made for confusing others. Oh, that is very clever.
Oh, and Thog's going to nod wisely, like, yep, it sure confused the hell out of us.
So, Ricky even had his issues at the beginning. Let's not talk about that. Let's not dwell on it.
Hang on.
So are you guys having a long rest then?
I would like to order a list of all the ingredients and foods to be prepared if that is all.
A list of ingredients for what, sorry?
For whatever this thing is, pointing towards a round spherical thing that has a ring attached to it.
I don't actually know what you're referring to.
Smoke grenade.
Oh,
Thanks.
that thing. Okay.
I'll send the description to you and Chris, but, the material's up to you, Matt.
Interesting. If you'd want a full material list, you'd probably have to take it apart.
Hmm.
Are you going to attempt to do that?
Would you allow me to do that?
Yeah. It's just your skill would determine whether you could put it back together again.
I will be asking Stock if I would be allowed to do this.
You do with it, it's up to you. Of course. There's no, Thog's not going to impede progress of an artificer at work.
This is so fascinating. Yes, I would definitely ask them to do this. This is one of a kind of thing. It's like a forbidden apple, except it produces a lot of smoke. I will attempt to do it.
Okay, so you're going to try and take it apart.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I will help myself by enhancing whichever thing I will need to do.
Okay. Can you give me what would class as just an artificer check? You should give me a roll plus a d20 plus your spellcasting modifier.
Just
Oh,
do
in
20.
fact, no, because it's yeah, because that's your intelligence, isn't it? Yeah, give me just give me a straight intelligence check then.
Okay, straight intelligence check.
Yeah.
19?
Cool. So you begin taking this thing apart, figuring out where the seams lie, and maneuvering tiny tools you keep on yourself into the slots to pry it open, but not break anything. As you take it apart, it's mostly made of metal. You can tell while the outside is very simple, the inner mechanisms are very finely forged. You can make a note of all the different kinds of shapes. What's the thing I'm thinking of? I can't think of the word. All the different kinds of different mechanisms inside it to make it work. But it's a lot more straightforward than you thought it would be. Simply relying on a burning of a material. Give me a nature check.
I don't think I should be ingesting any of these items, so I'll just try to figure out what it is. That is 15.
15. Okay, cool. Inside, you can see that there's a chemical composition that's meant to burn. You do identify that as potassium chlorate. It takes you a few minutes because there's an organic compound also attached to that. But you do realize that's some kind of lactose powder. Putting it all together, that makes a smoke grenade. And with your 19, it's going to take you like a good hour and a half to 2 hours into this long rest to accomplish all this, but you can successfully put it back together again. It seems to be the same as when you took it apart.
This is very fascinating. I wonder if I adjust the different components for different places, maybe I can produce something else with this.
For everybody else, go ahead and long rest yourselves. You will not be disturbed down here. And if there's anything else you want to do on this long rest while Tia messes with her grenade, Thog tells her tales, please let me know now.
Buying food and some of the other ingredients and materials just to prepare.
Can you what, sorry?
So mainly preparing with food and some of the other things.
Okay, cool.
And replacing components such as clogs and some of the brass parts to make clogs.
Okay. Good to know. Any
Going to
more
be
for
our
Earl?
debate event.
Sorry, what was that?
Just going to be prepared as always.
Anyone else doing anything?
Moreau's just going to listen intently to what Thog's saying and the various stories that she's talking about.
Okay.
I will also stay quiet for the story.
Okay. I'll add on an extra hour to your long rest just because it's going to take a while to recount such an epic tale. You all need your beauty sleep, but you essentially you're all caught up on the tales of the Barovian Taletellers in Barovia. Gory details and all. Finishing your long rest? It's very restful. You feel lovely. That probably won't last, given the things you've just heard about Barovia, but what is it you would all like to do?
Well, do we need to do any further preparations or get any supplies? I don't know what we need.
I guess we defer to the people that have experienced this place before. Is there anything particular that we need to conquer this domain of dread, or?
Well, I would say just a sense of confidence, and if all else fails, just hit things before they hit you.
That's an astute plan.
One thing I would like to say is this place doesn't work like other places. Don't trust anyone here. The mists don't take good people.
What do you mean?
Good people don't last here very long. It's like I want to describe it as nightmare logic. It doesn't work like the material plane at all, or hell, or other places like that.
So, are you suggesting that I shouldn't go there?
Oh, you can go there, but sometimes the mists choose to take people, and most of the people there are not good.
What would you give to the people who are not very good?
Cold shoulder.
A literal cold shoulder?
No, metaphorical.
Yeah.
What would you have to say, Thug, about Oh, sorry.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, how. I mean, if Strahd himself was defeated, I don't see how bad it still could be. I mean, perhaps I'm naive, but isn't that what gave this realm its power?
Oh, no. That I don't think most of the people understand what these places truly are. These places are prisons. People aren't supposed to get out of there. Supposed to keep things in.
Even with Strahd gone.
Oh, Strahd wasn't. There's more to the domains of dread than just Barovia. Put it that way.
Was more of a like Thugs and Ship It. Strahd was more of a illness rather than the source of the illness, as it were. He was a product of Barovia, not the cause of Barovia.
Oh,
I see.
why are we going then again?
to find this Mordenkainen.
And
This guy better be really important to drag me back to Barovia. He better be really, really clever. And I've met people a lot cleverer than me before.
May I ask, though, just one thing. How long were you in Barovia for?
Well, sometimes it felt like 1.5 to 3 hours once a week. And other times, it was like a kind of waking dream. And then other times, it felt like it took between 1.5 to 2 years. It was very strange. There was always a disconnect between what was waking and what was not. And all the time we were there, and the lack of a true day and night really hampered that. Even if the sun came up, the clouds still covered so strongly that not enough natural sunlight came to deter the forces of darkness, and that implies just how dark it was. It was very, very tricky to tell exactly how long, and I've never really been the best at keeping time as it is. Kind of looks a bit embarrassed about it, like never really been able to keep track of time that well. I'm more of a doer than a thinker, if you haven't caught on.
And Strahd hadn't come back by the time you left, had he?
Oh no. If he had, I must admit, myself and Linvala, the ally I've previously mentioned, we were there to quite firmly, how should I put this? Put in the boot while he was getting back up.
Very interesting.
Even if he came out in top form, the moment he appeared in front of us two, oh boy, that was going to be a ass whooping like you ain't never seen. The best part is, we were stronger than when we faced him last time. Downside is, we had a lot less friends in the area. I really do wonder what became of Lenvala, whether she returned to the Domain of Dread or not. But, and like Thog's going to do like a big, heavy of her regular sigh. She's just sighing, but like, well, problem is, I don't have any means of, I know some, wizards and people who have made various deals have this ability, but I don't have this ability to message people over a long distance. I can't communicate with people over a long distance. It's beyond me. So I can't just call out. When we get there, I can't just call out with magic and ask, hey, Linvala, you're still here? I'm dropped in. I've got some biscuits and new friends.
Is this Linvala someone that you would want to meet up with here?
Even if, like, Thog's going to, do the chin stroking measure, I have a cunning plan for that as well. No, all jokes aside, though, Thog's going to say, really, I've had a very long time to think about this. Option 1, Linvala has seen the light, very unlikely. And Linvala has seen the light. She realises her boss ain't no good, and joins us. Very powerful ally, extremely powerful ally. This is good. Option 2, we do what we need to do in Barovia. She's not our ally, but she chooses not to get in the way. That is also extremely good. Option 3, final option. She is there, and she chooses to get in the way. This is extremely bad, because I honestly don't think I could bring myself to fight her at all. I don't think
Even
I
if
could
it
bring
was
myself.
between you and her.
That's the thing, obviously, I helped her, and she helped me free Barovia together. No matter how far she's fallen, I don't think I could bring myself. Self-defense is one thing, but to dodge and move out of the way and keep retreating. But I genuinely don't think I could put any serious effort into putting her down.
What about
Yes,
the fourth
Matt.
option?
What's the fourth option?
We bribe her.
If she's that devout, I don't think anything we have would tear her away from her
We
beliefs.
just tell there is someone that threatens her god in hell. How about that?
Thog's gonna lovingly pat Tyr on the head and be like, "Tyr, you're so pure." But it's just so she can say, the strength of, if the strength of faith truly is what gives a god their power, then I can tell you with no uncertainty that Limvala could power a god all by herself.
Oh,
Love you,
is that
Lewis.
good, eh?
And that's why I couldn't fight her, because if she's not there, there's no question, that's fine, we just do what you need to do and leave. But if she is, and it comes to a fight, I've just got to tell you in advance, I cannot take part in any way. I cannot help you. Rephrase. I will help you, but I will not directly act against Limvala. I just can't do it. I owe her too much.
Well, thinking about this, we wouldn't need to, would we? Because if you and her have such a strong kinship between one another, then surely we can go into Barovia. Maybe, I mean, surely she would have spoken about you. So if there are any other followers of this Lilalia, then they'll know who you are, Thog the Mighty, of course. And surely we could just say to them, or you say to them, "Hey, I'm Thog. You may have heard of me. I'm a good friend of this." What did you say your name was? Sorry, Lyle Vala, Linvala, right?
One of the two.
Right. So say that
Limvala.
I'm this person's friend. I've come to check in and ask for her help on something. Then we could go if she's there. Then we get taken to her and we go, "Hey, we're looking for a Mornikainen. Have you seen him or them or her? I don't know who this person is." Then Vala goes, "No, sorry," and we go, "Cool, thanks, great to see you. Have a catch up, have a cup of tea," and then we leave. If she goes, we have seen him, but we've done something to him, then all we really need is what he had on his personage. So if you could convince her to just give us that, then we can just be on our merry jaunty way. And if, she goes, "Yes, we've seen him, no, you can't have the stuff," then we just go, "Okay, cool, you're really good friends with Thog. We're just gonna leave and find another way to deal with this thing that we're dealing with that definitely isn't your god. Demigod. Whatever Lilalia is."
So Thog's going to take this under consideration, and she's genuinely going to consider there's never got an issue with that. And she's going to think, I think the last part of your plan may have a small yet glaring flaw. I'm aware.
Go for it.
I don't know if you've noticed, but it is extremely difficult for me to lie convincingly. I seem to lack the knack, as it were. If you want me to strong-arm somebody, that's fine. I'm pretty confident in strong-arming 99% of everyone else I've ever met, including Levista's slippery bugger. But I can't lie to Limvala. She knows me too well.
But you don't need to lie. We can just be like, "Hey, we're looking for Mornikainen, Morden, whatever his name is. Have you seen him or them or her? No, cool. We're going to go and find this person." Maybe if she's such good kinship with you, if she hasn't seen him, then maybe if she's such a great, strong ally, she might even be willing to help look for him.
That's what I've said. That's what I've said. I've
Yeah.
you know, if she helps, that's fine. But if her god, which she does communicate with regularly, if her god tells her, "Look, Thog's no longer your ally," I genuinely believe it. Nothing at that point. Although there will be a maybe some sort of chance to explain myself, I genuinely do not think Limvala would give up her god for me, no matter what we shared.
We do have one other option to try first. I may know someone there who might be able to provide us with a direction to go. Someone to speak, just find Mordecai first. At least get a lay of the land first.
Oh, who? I might have met them.
It's Vistani, Madame Eva.
Ah, yes. Now that is someone I've met once. She seemed pretty cool.
Yeah, let's go with that.
What? She did.
Yeah,
She even told my fortune, the fortune of my friends. It was really interesting to listen to.
oh, she did a similar thing with me. We didn't part on the best of terms, though.
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, but it might be worth speaking to them.
I mean, you know, she wasn't a friend, but she was friendly at least. I'm sorry that you didn't have a good experience with her.
It was a long time ago. Maybe things have. Maybe she's calmed down a bit. Happy to see me.
So, Vigil has been listening intently to all of this, making notes where appropriate, and also documenting Thog's recounting of the tale, just so it's properly preserved, should anything happen. He looks at you all warily and says, I don't... I'm just very grateful that you are all willing to take this risk, given what we've just heard. I wish you all the best of luck. Is there anything I can do before you depart?
Matt just wants us to
Yes.
be in Barovia already.
So, a question. Do you happen to have something that's like a pill or a medication that's similar to something called the catnap?
Unfortunately not. We don't have much in that regards down here. It's more papers and spell books. I can try and acquire it by the time you're back, however.
I might need to create something. Of course, the best way is always that.
I will look into getting you a reasonable supply of ingredients by the time you're back, if that's what you need. I'm essentially just a glorified assistant at the minute, so happily.
And would you be able to get a few months worth of supplies?
Certainly. I
A
doubt.
few months?
Hey, you don't know how long we are going to be in there. In hell, it was hard enough to get something nice to eat.
Fucking hell.
It might take me some time to get that many, but I can certainly ask Miss Silverhand if she can procure some on your behalf.
Would a few weeks worth of supplies be possible at least?
Yes. Just one moment, and he will disappear for 5 to 10 minutes, back into the upper reaches of the tower, and return with a satchel full of supplies. it seems to be quite haphazardly put together. There are some perishables in there that probably shouldn't be in there in a supply bag like this. But for 6 people, the amount that he comes back with should be reasonable for 2.5 weeks of rations.
Are the perishables perished?
They are not. It's just looking at it, you're kind of making the mental note of, okay, we're going to have to eat that first.
Okay.
Or we can freeze it. We always have a different kind of technology. And I
That's
might be
totally
able
fine.
to enjoy this thing for once. And Tia
Yeah.
pulls out a cookbook.
Now, just like folks will look at that and be like, "No, we didn't have one of those in Barovia. It's like you had my interest. Now you have my attention."
Might be able to make something nice. I haven't quite looked at this recipes before. It seems to be of jungly nature on the first few pages, and then goes on to something else. Maybe we'll be able to find something nice to do.
Don't know what
But just by
variety of.
accident. Yes?
Well, I'm not sure what variety of ingredients we'll have access to. That's the only thing that comes to mind.
From my experience of Barovia, it's essentially certain types of gruel. But the Vistani sometimes cook pretty well.
Got it in one, Moreau. Got it in one.
Well, perhaps we should stop delaying the inevitable.
Yeah, no time like the present.
Get a leg on.
Yeah, gods.
Well, one good thing about Barovia is that you certainly won't need the sunscreen.
That is definitely true.
Here's hoping that the sun stayed up. I put a lot of work into actually keeping the bloody thing out.
Do we have something like a dark screen? I don't know. Is that the thing?
We'll find out, Tia. We'll find out.
I can actually feel that the energy of every single one of you of, well, I don't want to step through that first. Let's not. Let's just not.
Thug will just do it. Thug will just step through. Fuck it. There's no sense of, if no one's gonna try and get all meta with her again, then we'll just step through the portal. So it's do it.
You know, I don't want to feel it. I don't want to feel it. Can I be in the backpack for now?
Yes, you can, Tia. Yes, you bloody can. We're going full kobold cannon again.
Yeah.
It's a real cannon this time.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're bloody right.
Like an
I will.
echo of times past, Fog with Tia in a backpack steps up to the portal shrouded in mist and steps through. Are you all following suit?
Yep, I'll draw sword and
Yep.
go.
Moreau will sigh and walk through.
Okay. As you all step through this portal, you feel the same pull as you did previously. It only lasts for a moment or two, but this time it's slightly different. This time, stepping through the portal, instead of your vision going black and then bright as you reach your new destination, instead it's almost like a cloud descends over your eyes before you step out the other side. And then you realize, unlike the last time where you feel like a drop and a pulling sensation towards your destination before arriving on the ground, this time something feels off. As you approach the end point of your portal, it's almost like you speed up. Like there is a resistance at this other end to a teleportation of this kind. And instead of stepping out, you find yourselves entering a room from the portal, being thrown a couple of feet from it and landing on the ground. Each one of you, thud, 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 after another. As you come to your senses, you find yourselves in a very small room. Dust and rot surrounds where you have landed. It's clearly not been used for a very long time. As you look up, you can see what remains of a broken tower. Most of the floors above you crumbled and shattered, with just a few sticking out segments of rotting wood left on each floor. I'll put you on the map. What would you guys like to do?
This is the exact reason why I tried so many more ingredients.
I'd like to see the map.
Moreau's going to look
See
round
it
and go.
yet. Oh.
Moreau's look round and go. Is everyone okay? Is everyone here? And he'll like do a quick like head count, like you would with small children.
Speak up if you're not here.
Speak up if you're dead.
Yeah, but speaking up if you're dead is more likely than if you're not here in D&D.
Especially in
It's not even a
Barovia.
fair test,
Yeah.
especially in Barovia.
Oh fuck!
Matt,
I
Liam's
have
cheating
such
on
a
the test.
sense of dread right now. Oh my god!
Are you saying that in character?
No,
Very good.
no, that was actually me. My character doesn't know that they should feel dread right now.
Domain
much
by
as-
name, domain by nature.
Well,
Can I make an investigation check, Matt, to see if there are any traps or any glyphs of warding or anything around that if we walk out of the
Good
room?
idea.
Oh, I actually would like to do that
Let's
too.
not repeat past mistakes
Yeah,
right off the
go
bat.
ahead. Go
And
ahead.
I'm guiding myself as well. That is a investigation. 18.
Okay. Looking around the room, the only thing of note that hits you as being magical is the portal from which you came. Though looking at it, you can see there is a oddness to it. It doesn't look the same as it did from the other side. This side, it's almost like a ball of mist is surrounding the blue flame that generates the portal itself, almost like a shadow trying to snuff it out, but not quite succeeding. And as you look at it, as you get close to it to examine it, you feel almost like if you were an opposite end of a magnet to it. It's repelling you. The closer you get to it, this force pushing you back. A force that seems to get stronger the closer to the portal you get. Other than that, looking around the room, as I said, there are shards of rotten wood everywhere, rotten and empty boxes on one side of the room, and in the center of the room, what appears to be the remnants of a pallet-style lift. Around the outside, there are 4 pairs of feet, appeared to be molded from clay, but they stop at being feet. First, it's almost like they look like they're boots, but they are completely solid and infilled. What purpose they serve is unclear.
I'm gonna.
Well, go on, Chris.
Or a pair of feet, you say?
No, go ahead, Eve. I think you were first.
I actually didn't have anything to say. I was just saying, well,
Moreau's going to head towards the door and try and slowly peek round if he can.
Okay. This is one of the doors I talked about. You can interact with it.
Yay!
Hooray!
Oh, cool.
Opening the door and peering around outside, you get a brief smell of like damp, wet rock hit your nostril, and looking out, you see a small track leading away from the tower you are in into a dark and misty woodland. Outside, just to your southeast, you can clearly see what remains of a very old, very burnt out wagon. You can barely tell that four wheels once sat here. The rest is just shards and pieces.
Does it look
Okay.
suspiciously familiar, Matt?
To you, Thog, it looks very familiar. This wagon was burnt down with alchemist's fire when you were last here.
Yeah.
You are in a tower you have visited a long time ago.
Is this the Archmage tower?
It's Van Richten's tower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are in
Yeah.
Van Richten's tower.
Okay, Thog will briefly explain that the broken and blasted carriage outside was like, everyone again can tell clearly that she's lying, and very embarrassed about this, as you rarely see a half-orc her size blush. But you see, definitely had absolutely 100% nothing to do with whatever the hell that is, of course, and she's going to look away so, like, she's literally sweating the effort of lying. And then she's going to go, also, and the blush stops. Haven't got a clue what these boots are doing here. She just looks more confused and embarrassed about the boots until she looks back outside again. The blush starts creeping up again. Then she looks away. She's like, "Okay, don't say it, don't say it, don't say it."
So, what are the boot / feet again, Matt? Sorry.
They, at first glance, appear to be just boots, all facing inwards. Only looking at them, they're made of clay, and there is no space to put a foot. It's like someone has just made 4 pairs of clay feet.
I will, with the sword that I summoned before I went through the portal, I will kind of poke one of them, just very lightly, see if they react.
It wobbles on the spot and then settles back to where it was. Nothing happens.
Yes, they're just decorative feet.
Does it look like something arcane, like a spell that we've seen before, or a component of a spell or anything like that?
Go ahead and make an Arcana check.
I'm not proficient in Arcana.
That is okay.
Can I assist?
Yes.
14.
Seven.
Teffel, you have no idea.
Yeah, that checks out.
I almost called you Dimitri then. Moreau. The only these things are a mystery to you too until Teffel starts questioning about whether they have like an arcane origin. The only clay thing that you know that is arcane would be a clay golem. However, tying random clay feet to that may be a bit of a stretch. It's just the only thing that crosses your mind.
I'll mention that to the group, just sort of saying the only thing I know with clay and Arcana is clay golems. But
What's that?
Pause for a second. I'm just going to do a quick catch up for Lavender. Hello. You have been informed of all of the Barovian adventures by Thog. You have long rested, and among a few small things such as collecting rations, Tia figuring out the contents of a smoke grenade, you are now you've stepped foot through a portal and landed in Van Richten's tower in Barovia.
Okay, thank you, Matt.
Continue. Talking about feet.
What's a clay? Like one hand just kind of tentatively goes up as if like they're
Like
like
in
kind of like
school.
yeah, but like in like the middle to back row, so they're kind of not particularly very confident. But Nith just kind of goes, "What's a clay golem?"
It is like this thing. Tia pull out a small amount of clay from the bag and then start to shape it like a doll-looking thing with the small circular parts as the body. It's similar to this thing, but it will be alive.
Oh,
And much bigger, I presume.
Yes, much bigger. I don't have that much clay with me right now.
oh. Nithzira takes like a step to the right away from the feet. Cool, good to know.
Do you think it could be for maybe some kind of weird transportation or?
If nobody's done detect magic on it already, can I do it, please?
No, go ahead.
Okay. As you cast detect magic, each pair of these clay boots, shoes, feet, what have you, all for a moment have transmutation magic surrounding them. But you can tell it's very, very faint, as though the magic was once present in force but has been severed or broken in some way.
These do have a trail of transmutation magic, but it seems to be from long, long ago, or as though it's been disconnected somehow.
Hmm.
Oh, actually, that sparked something. Speaking of transmutation magic, Lavender, I've been meaning to ask you a question. I don't know why it's taken me a night and a day, but when we were fighting with the Vistas, I noticed that there was a second me.
Oh, yes. I disguised myself to look like the first person who came to mind. Which, was you, for some reason.
Oh, I get it, because you knew that I had protection from him, so you were thinking that you'd protect yourself by being me, right? She says innocently.
Yes, precisely.
Oh, okay, that's a really good idea. Well done. She gives you a little pat on the head.
Not pat me.
Right. I have no interest in messing around with something huge and clayey. What's it look like out there, Moreau?
It's misty and dark. It looks safe though, I think. Can I take a quick look around, see if I can see anyone just from the door?
Yeah. Give me a perception check.
13.
Okay. You step out, have a peek around. Everything in the woods and beyond seems quiet. Just as you have experienced in other domains of dread, you can't really tell what time of day it is here. It's just an ambient dull. Looking over the woodlands around you, you can see a very varied topography, hills and mountains in every direction, and it's very quick that the pathway to your south disappears into the woodlands. You can't really see any other signs of it or other roads from here. However, what you do see over to the east just sticking over the tree line is a very ominous looming tower. Probably the one described in Thog's tales.
Oh
So,
boy.
would I know where we are based on the fact that I've been to Barovia before, based on
The memory,
the tower that I'm there and
yeah,
and knowing, seeing that Ravenloft is to the east?
yeah. Your memory is sketchy, but you have a rough idea of the layout of this land and roughly where you are. Yes.
I do have a question. Can we take one of these boots, and when somebody comes out, and we can just say, "Have a taste of my boot," and just throw it at them?
Sure.
I don't think it would hurt. Well, not us anyway.
Well, it's made of clay, so I think that would hurt something.
Should we be working from the tales that you tell, Thug, on the assumption that Lililia perhaps already knows we are here?
That would neither surprise nor necessarily upset me, because that means, I think it would be safe to assume we should be watching for her.
Oh, wait, we're idiots. I've just realised this.
Speak for yourself.
Fog, the plans that we were talking about how to find Mordenkainen. I just realised Moreau can do that if we have a thing of theirs, right? Or if he knows them or seen them.
I can also, if needed.
Yeah, why didn't we ask Vigil or that stupid idiot for something of Mordekainen's? That way we could easily find him without having to, if we go and meet Linvala.
We did that in hell.
Yeah.
Can we up back through?
Yeah. Hang on 1 second, and Nithil just pop back through the portal.
Okay.
Did we end up short resting? Sorry.
You long
We long rested.
Oh, amazing.
As you go to step in the portal, this thing that Moreau experienced, you feel it too. As you walk towards it and try and lean into it, the closer you get, the bigger the resistance, the pushback. You get 1 foot up to try and step through, and the resistance hits a peak, and you're pushed back a few feet. The mists themselves repelling you from
I'm
stepping
banging
back
the back
through.
of Foglen, right?
Yeah.
Well, we do know that Mordekainen was very interested in studying and very good with all the different things. What about this thing? And here pulls out the half-written scroll.
Wait a second. Are we not, freaking out at the fact that we can't get back through this portal?
It's quite normal for Barovia, I thought I'd let you know.
Yeah.
How are we going to get back? Is no one else worried about this?
I figured the portal would just let us back.
Yeah,
I'm beginning to
exactly.
now panic.
And obviously not.
You heard when I said this place was a prison, right?
Yeah, but I figured this was like a secret tunnel.
I thought you meant drab and cold, not inescapable.
Let's just say there are ways out. I may be able to speak to some folk. There's ways. If it's not in my experience, if something isn't letting you out, there's a reason they aren't letting you out. And I think we there's ways we can try and succeed. And
I mean, it would be slightly more dangerous, but you can always fire cannon people through there, right? If you have enough force, you should be able to penetrate the resistance of this thing. And goes on to a ramble off.
Well, that could be like launching someone into a brick wall.
But
if that portal doesn't want to let people back through, it's not going to let people back through, no matter the force.
And that's why you
Although
need to
I
have
don't know
something
anything
of
about
a
portals.
concentration of the energy to pierce through that. That goes on to more of a ramble.
Alright, well, clearly you know more about portals than I do. As long
I
as we
have
have
no
a way
idea
to get
about the
back
portals,
out of
but I think
here.
it might be a theory that I can rely on.
Well, there is a silver lining around all of this, is that at least if we can't leave, then hopefully that means that Linvala and the other members of the clergy also can't leave through conventional means. So at least, if we find one that we can take back to trade for my soul, then at least they can't really run away, I suppose.
They have a point there. That is a very fair point.
Yeah, they're stuck in here with us.
Yes, Thug's going to start nodding. It's very seriously. Oh yeah, they're stuck in here with us, all right.
Moreau, you said you have gotten out before?
Once. I spent some time in various traveling some of these places. It's a bit happenstance if you get out. I had some help. I don't know if I'll be able to call on them though. Usually there's a bit of a price that needs to be paid if I have to.
Promising.
Well, I've got some spare gold if you need it.
It's not that kind of price.
Oh.
I'm afraid I no longer have a soul. That's what they're talking about.
What?
It's a joke? No?
No. It's
I mean, I don't know for sure. Maybe.
well,
Let's see if I can hold on to yours, Nith.
Huh?
I can.
Ah, that's a heavy one.
This is getting grim already.
Well, the Crisis of Faith arc is coming a lot sooner than I anticipated. Well,
Would this work? Tia writes on a thin piece of slate, one soul.
well, it's getting a bit crowded in here. I will step out and see the burning wax.
Well, we may as well scry on what's his face? Markiplier? No.
Markiplier? What?
Yeah, that's his name, Markiplier.
Yeah.
Or the guy
Yes.
we know of him.
Yeah, Markiplier.
Yeah, I can try and do a scry on him. I mean, they have to try and resist it, but maybe if he wants to be found, it might be a bit easier. It's possible. I can make a try at least. If
Even
anyone,
without one of his belongings?
it
As I
makes it
mentioned.
harder. But if you,
Would this scroll help?
Yeah, Tia has the scroll.
that might help. That might help it as well. It might at least offset some of what they can do. I can certainly try. And I'll sit down, I'll get my crystal ball out and my Taroka deck and start on the floor of the tower trying to scry on Mordenkainen.
Okay.
Can I assist, Matt?
Guidance.
Can I play some atmospheric pan flute music to get him in the mood for scrying?
Unfortunately not. Because it's a
I'll
10
do it
minute...
anyway.
No, because it's a 10-minute casting time as well. Well, I mean, you can do it anyway, but it won't do
Yeah,
it.
that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to start playing
There's
some
no
atmospheric pan flute music.
okay. There's no actual stat benefit from that. And I'm gonna say because it's a 10-minute casting time, where you're doing the whole process for the 10 minutes, a guidance won't help here either, because that's only for 60 seconds. So
So,
would you
based
ask
on the previous scrying, would Tia know what they need for?
It's a save they have to make.
Oh.
So yeah, it's nothing. You can't really do anything to boost me.
I feel like I would need my sibling here. They can cut someone really well.
Because it's a second-hand knowledge, so I've heard of the target, so they get a +5 to the save. But if I have possession or garment in my possession, that's a -4. So depending on how Matt wants to rule it, that could be a +1 to their save.
It is indeed going to be a +1.
Yeah. So it's a DC 16 or DC 15 in there if it's a straight command thing. Yeah, DC 16 is going to spell save anyway.
Okay, what is there? Okay, interesting. Let's go. With their wisdom modifier for saves and the +1 that they get, that is a 25.
Oh shit!
Whoa!
And they are
Legendary
choosing.
creature.
They are choosing to resist.
But at least it means that we know that they're alive.
Maybe.
That's a plus.
Would I know that though? Because it depends. Would I just get a?
So
would I get like a?
You get the spell goes off the same way as it has for you before. Your consciousness seems to travel outwards, looking for something, and it takes longer than usual to find that something. And when you do, the sensation you get is almost like a door being slammed in your face before you can see what's on the other side of it. So you know there is something there to be seen, but you are pushed from it before you can get a glimpse of anything.
I got something, but I didn't see him. It was like he was trying to resist. He's here, definitely.
Yeah, but that's good though, because then we at least he's alive, so we know that we can
Exactly.
search for him. Can
And he doesn't know you, so it makes sense that if he felt someone was trying to infiltrate his mind, that he would resist.
Yeah, I think that. I think it's a good thing.
Maybe, I don't know.
Could you? I'm sorry to keep relying on your particular set of skills, Moreau, but is there any chance that you could do the same thing that you did, and know which direction we need to go to get to him?
That's a bit more difficult. Okay, if we do a ritual, I can. There's enough of us. I can get that spell for the rest of the day. But I have to be within 1,000 feet of them for it to work.
Oh.
Perhaps
okay.
that would be better when we have a little more of a concrete information.
Yeah, or maybe. Maybe.
What is it? I had my head buried in papers before. What exactly did he come to look for? Where would he start in Barovia?
Well, he's trying to find out more about the Lelia, I believe.
So I sure he would go straight to the source? Thug, where was it that she resides?
Thug's gonna knead her fingers between her eyes, like, oh god, I know exactly where she is. Okay, just big sigh. I'm just gonna say, right. Diagon Vala is gonna be in probably, and this is my best guess. She's gonna be in one of two places. One, she's going to be in Strahd's castle, having, occupied it after his enforced eviction. That's okay, and that's manageable. Two, she will be in the largest church in Barovia, and will have converted it to her mistress's cause. Maybe.
I think it may perhaps be wise to get a little lay of the land before we figure out. I mean, we don't know how much of this world has been converted to her following, no? Perhaps where's the nearest town or village we can see what the villagers are like there, whether they follow them.
Yeah, that's actually a really good idea, because instead of maybe just going, seeing as how you are adverse to clashing swords together with her thug. Maybe we find the closest settlement, get a little bit of knowledge, as you've said, Lavender, great idea. And then maybe if we try for the largest church, because at least in that way, if she is so devout in her ways, as you said, and could potentially view us as enemies, then if it's the largest church and it's all converted to her god, then surely she wouldn't want to destroy that or harm that. So we could at least have a bit of runaway leeway time.
I
We
would.
must. Sorry, go on, Thor.
No, it's absolutely fine. I'm forced to be brief. So I was going to say, you're right that she wouldn't want to damage it. However, I would stress this most fervently. Anybody who makes any sort of hint, in any way, shape, or form, that you're not directly agree, you can agree in a different way, but anyone who says they're not agreeing or thinks a way could be better than what Linvala has in mind is is not going to succeed in changing her mind. She's like a force of nature, like a hurricane or a tidal wave. She can be channeled, but she can't be stopped.
Did you leave on good terms, Thog? Would she trust you if she saw you?
But like I. It's like Thog's gonna look at you like, you must have spaced out during that moment I was saying that, but no, I mean, of course, I know you weren't there, Frankie, it's fine. But it's like, she was gonna say, we left on very good terms. However, if Lalalia has said anything at all to Linvala, and that's very, very likely because she's highly favoured by Linvala, then she will always pick Linvala over me. And any hint of friendship or camaraderie will always be overridden by her duty to Lalalia. Always.
Then perchance, and Nifsira makes a kind of another, like, very slow side eye towards Moreau and go, maybe you could try and find out where she is then, so we could maybe stay away from her?
Well, this is what I mean. If we reach a settlement, we can figure out how incognito we need to go, or...
Yeah, but also, Moreau could potentially do what he just did with Mordekainen and potentially be able to use his magics to see where she is so we know where not to currently go.
Lily or Linvala?
Linvala.
Yes, she would not... Would she be able to tell?
I don't really know how that magic works, and kind of looks at
think-
Moreau and kind of shrugs.
I don't think. Do they? How do you rule it, Matt? Do they know? Because they have to make a save, or that someone's looking at them, or is
so-
it?
I'm just rereading the spell now. So,
Yeah.
right. So they would. Which is modify how you type, blah blah blah. Okay. No, I don't think they would know.
Yeah.
Inherently. So because you can only choose to fail it if you know the spell's being cast, it would mean it's a resistance, but it's a passive resistance. They don't know someone's trying to watch them. I will say, if it is successful, the spell does create an actual object that you are looking through, though it is invisible. So, if they fail, there is no sign. If they succeed, sorry, and resist it, there is no sign that you have attempted it on their end. However, is always a chance that they would be aware of it if you did succeed and were watching them.
Yeah, I'll let everyone know that and say, well, there's a chance that if it succeeds, it creates like an invisible orb. If they have the ability to see things that are invisible, they would see the orb. Did Limvala have any kind of ability like that to be able to see invisible things?
To be honest. And Thog's gonna really confused at this point because you're trying to explain something that's going way over her head. To be honest, what she did and didn't see was a little bit beyond the group, let alone me. And I'm sure her power has only waxed in her time away from each other.
Very true. I mean, I would suggest.
Sorry, I can't say.
No, that is. You've been more than helpful, Thog. Perhaps if I think maybe we find a settlement first. That might, because if there's let's find a settlement first. We're between two at the moment, Kresk and Valaki. If we find one, we can at least go on the outer edges or something like that. Try and find out what's going on and get a lay of the land. Then maybe scry again, because we can before we go in, or I can possibly if we take an hour, I can find out. I can get a spell that would allow me to locate a creature. And if we get close to the creature, I can get locate creature. And if we get near a settlement, I could attempt to locate that creature. And if they're within 1,000 feet, I know the direction to them.
Alright, that's sick. Which settlement would be the most adverse in both of your opinions, your astute Barovian opinions? Which one of the Kesk or Valanuk, which one of those two would be the most adverse to going pro-Lelalia, if that's what we're trying to avoid?
It's been a while since I've been here. Thog, do you get a comment?
Thog is going to really, really think about it. And just oh god, that is a real stumper. And she's going to think and think and think, and she's going to say, well, that's a tricky one, but there is one, should I say it? Just, that's a tricky one. How many of you are familiar with the term angel?
Nifsira looks at you with fear and panic. I am.
Well,
I
don't know if there's, because Thog really just does not have much knowledge on the planes at all. Damn it, Lewis does so much. But
this is
Thog
why I play religious characters, Lewis, all the time.
No, stop playing religious character. I'm playing someone of a simple but mighty faith. Everything else is details.
Cowabunga, dude.
But so Thog's going to say, well, I think maybe we shouldn't go to Kresk first, because I maybe, and this is only a maybe, and she's going to start looking all nervous and blushy again, like, oh shit, man. Maybe it wasn't just me. There was a group of us, so the blame is shared. We maybe, have kicked the shit out of an angel.
Moreau raises his eyebrows at this.
Just we may have kicked the shit out of an angel who had fallen. He was doing these weird things with bodies, and there were, one of our friends, so many people had died there that these really evil shadows were waiting in a room, so one of our friends had to throw themselves out of a window just to escape. It was really bad. And it was one of my former party members who we thought was lost had also fallen to darkness, and instead of trying to help people with their surgery skills, they were helping to stitch people to other people. It was really messed up. And so I also had to, and it looked very sad at this point, like, I also had to kill a former I had to kill more than one former party member in my time at Barovia, because each had fallen to darkness in a different way. But this party member, called Dr. Stitch, he had chosen to stitch the living to the living and the dead, all in one amount, large body, and it was horrible. It looks looking really uncomfortable. She's like, bodies should be taken apart with martial skill or surgery. They shouldn't be stitched back together into horrors. Which also reminds me of something I may have forgot to mention to you guys about Linvala. She's got a demon arm.
What?
A what?
What the actual shit do you guys do here?
I was like, I hope you not to bring it up too soon. And like Tom's been like looking very, very guilty. Like, you thought she looked guilty before. My God, she looks guilty now. It's like, I didn't really want to mention this. I kind of glossed over the details. But we met a bloke. He had a demon arm. We chopped off his arm and killed him because he was a bad person, and we thought we were doing the right thing, and it all kind of worked out mostly alright for that. That was okay. That was like a minor good thing we did. But if I'm completely honest, Linvala then had that dead. Listen very carefully. This guy had been dead for a little while. She then had her own arm voluntarily removed to then have that dead demon arm put on her own arm. And then she kept saying how she could throw fire with it, and then never did. So I'm still assuming that she's saving all that up for when she really needs it.
You see Tia just about to raise a claw and then just lowers it down.
It's like, it's like, I tried to gloss over the details, I tried to spare you guys from, necessarily being too graphic, because I want you guys to sleep again. Maybe I've heard this sort of medicine does this, where you dilute it many, many times, and it's got no side effects, but also no main effects.
Is that
Something
even
like,
anatomically possible?
I don't know, but I'm just hoping that if I keep giving you guys these small details a little bit at a time, you'll still be able to sleep.
Sleep? Who needs sleep?
People who need to hear my stories in full need sleep, Tia. That's I like to focus on the lifting and the flexing and skip the body horror.
So are you telling me that's why my sibling never told me about this thing?
Probably yes. Also, maybe perhaps didn't pay much attention. So busy being caught up in the moment, they didn't pay attention to putting the effort into remembering it.
Huh.
But there's just like, and Thugs could say like, if I remember anything else, I'll tell you when we rest, maybe. Otherwise, I'll be talking all day. But I think maybe we should avoid Crest.
Any other places that we need to steer clear of?
Okay, do not, for the love of God, walk in the woods. Large packs.
Why not?
Large,
bad could
very
it
large
be?
packs, incredibly large packs of dire wolves roam the woods regularly, and they constantly attack any travellers that go nearby. And then this one time, we found this guy's clothes neatly, very, very neatly, laid in the forest, all in a neat pile, and we took them. We never found a naked guy again, meaning either he was a direwolf, he could turn into a direwolf, or he's an enormous pervert, and perverts are all in the woods as well. You've got to watch out for them too. And I'm not sure what I'm more scared of, but if anything waves in front of my face, I'm chopping it off.
Just before we continue, Chris, can you just roll a D100 for me?
Oh no.
Fuck. That is an 8,
Okay.
which I'm guessing isn't good because that's low.
Speaking of random encounters,
As
It's a roll for 100 direwolves.
Farah walks out of the forest.
Why did you sell Matt the book?
actually, I still have it. He never picked it up.
Oh wait,
I've
hang on.
not got it yet.
Oh shit.
Ah, balls.
As you've been talking, moving out of the tower and such, discussing where to go, there is something. How to describe this? Lavender and Tia, you are stood in such a way that you notice something out of the ordinary, something that wasn't present before. You look over to where Moreau was just sat to do his scrying spell, and right where he was, glowing red and vibrant with a little static hum about it, there is a very small static red lightning bolt just hanging above the floor.
Oh, damn.
Oh shit.
Uh-oh.
Not again.
Is it just starting, or have we just noticed it?
You've just noticed it. It's just
So,
sat there.
Hey,
it looks
you better
like
not
the
follow us.
ones that have been described to us before.
It looks just like the ones you've been described that have been described. However, it is
Fuck.
very, very small. Only like half a foot wide at its thickest, and maybe 2 or 3 feet long.
You know, it's very rude to sky on someone, so could you just get going?
Yeah, that does not look good. I'll quickly shove everything into a bag and start moving away from it.
Okay.
That thing doesn't move anywhere?
It doesn't appear to be moving at all, no.
No, then just stay there. We'll go. Bye. It's not following, is it?
It doesn't appear to be following you, no.
Can I pick up a rock from outside and throw it at it?
Yeah. Um,
Preferably when we're all out of the tower.
Yeah, obviously I'd be like, "Alright, grenade coming in, back out."
Yeah.
Roll for
Leaving.
crit.
Matt, does anything ping up on my detect magic? It's within 10 minutes, I assume. Or if not, she'll test it again.
yeah, you'd have to cast it again because
Yeah.
the scrying took 10 minutes.
Sure.
Yeah, as you are just leaving so Nith can throw this rock, casting detect magic on it. It's like an ebb and flow of different kinds of magic. 3 to be precise. From it, you can sense conjuration magic, transmutation magic, and one that you're not quite as familiar with as the others. But there is definitely an aura of let me just be precise. Which one it is? There is chronomancy magic around it as well.
Ooh. Is that time?
That is the magic to do with time.
But she's not familiar with it.
You know of it, and you know it to the extent that you can detect it with your detect magic. However, it is a very raw form of magic that most people who perform magic do not practice. It's very difficult to perform.
She's kind of like this flash of like childlike wonder comes across her face, and this big grin, this snarl, as she's like having this feeling of discovering a type of magic that she's never seen before, which hasn't happened in a long time. And she's like, interesting. Can she see anything through it?
Looking at it towards the center of the lightning, it just gets a brighter and brighter hue of red until it is just white light at its center. There is nothing you see through it.
Okay. And nothing else pings off as I'm walking out the tower?
No, nothing changes about it.
I'm gonna get my lantern of revealing out and stay within 30, just move to 30 feet, and then turn the lantern on and see if there's anything invisible, like near the lightning.
Looking through, doesn't seem to be anything invisible around it. No.
Well, put the lantern out then to conserve the oil.
Okay. As you all just remove yourselves from the room for the moment so Nith can perform her experiment. Nith, you throw the rock, and I'm going to be kind so you don't have to just keep on repeating the same thing over and over again. You manage to hit your target straight through the middle of this lightning bolt, and as it disappears into the whiteness, you're kind of expecting a clang, something as it hits the ground on the other side, because it definitely goes through.
Yeah.
But you don't hear anything. You adjust your angle, look around. The rock you threw is not in the tower.
Well, our two newest party members definitely weren't lying when they said they walked through one of those things. It's taken the rock somewhere.
Well, yes, we know that people have been going missing through them.
I don't suppose you want to chuck through an end of rope and see if they can pull themselves back out again.
Not if they've just been knocked out by the rock.
I mean,
yes. That explains everything.
if you want, I'll try and put rope through there.
Worth a try, isn't it?
Yeah, sure thing. I'll get my own rope out of my adventurer's pack.
Okay.
And yeah, I'll kind of give it a... Does it feel like warm near it? Does it feel staticky? Does it feel wrong? Like, what is the general area as I kind of slowly edge towards this thing feel like, Matt?
As you edge towards it, once you're within about 10 feet, you begin to feel like a bit staticky all over.
Yeah,
the kind of thing you
like
do
sharp.
if you're in like an intense thunderstorm, that kind of feeling in the air. And there's a very almost imperceptible buzz or a hum to it that you can more feel rather than hear. It's just outside of your actual hearing range.
Okay, I'll stop when I get to 10 feet and feel all this. I'll move forward to 9 feet, and then I'll kind of over my shoulder, still keeping my eyes on this thing in case anything happens, describe that to the party.
Okay.
Specifically voicing it in the direction of the spellcasters, in case I should be alarmed more than I already am.
Okay. You're edging closer and closer to it.
I'll just be like, does that mean anything to any of you arcane practitioners?
Can I make an Arcana check, Matt?
Yeah, go ahead.
I will assist.
I shall help as well if that makes
I'll
sense.
guidance myself. Do I get advantage on that then, or are you rolling? Cool. Same number. So Arcana 22.
Okay. The things that are being described are very peculiar. They do not coincide with any spell or magical effect you're aware of. Like I say, the closest thing you have is the staticky feeling you'd get if you were in a very intense thunderstorm. But that's about it.
I'll say to Nith, I've never seen anything like this before, and I've seen quite a fair few magical things in my life.
Okay, I'm going to take the end of the rope and kind of make a knot around itself so it has like a heavy thing at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And staying where I am, I'm going to, again, try and kind of lasso, like spin it around and throw to see if I can get the heavy bit through the well, sorry, not the heavy bit, but like the weighted bit through the portal and see what happens to the rope.
Okay. It takes you a few attempts because it's not that weighted.
Yeah.
But you do manage to get the end into the very center of this narrow red lightning bolt. There is a kind of once you've got it in, it doesn't fall to the ground through the lightning as you'd expect the end like that you're still holding on to do. So you can assume it's definitely gone somewhere because it's not in the room. But you pause there for a few moments with this rope hanging out of this anomaly. Nothing appears to be happening.
If I kind of wiggle the rope, does it wiggle as if it goes like up and down on the lightning bolt, or does it kind of the motion go through the rope until it gets to the part where it connects to the lightning bolt and then just like immediately like force stops? How does the physics of it work?
Okay. It's kind of a mixture of both. The wiggle does seem to be communicated through this anomaly, but with resistance. Almost like you were dragging it through water at the other end.
Right, but the actual rope where it connects to the anomaly and goes through into the anomaly, that does move up and down, right? It's not as if the rope is cemented in one spot, right?
It does, though with resistance.
Okay. I will again call out to the spellcasters and describe my continued experiments in my lab coat, seeking assistance or seeing if it sparks a kind of memory.
Can I make an Arcana check, Matt?
I'll take your other roll because it's very similar. Same kind of thing you're trying to pick up on. Is there any familiarity with what you'd know from portals and teleportation and that kind of thing? This is not like that. Like the portal you've just come through, it is a one and done type thing. There is not so much a tangible substance to it. So this effect that is happening to the rope, the fact that the rope can seemingly go through this thing, but also is still being held by Nith, it is very peculiar indeed. It's not like anything you will have heard of before.
I'll relay that and just say this is not like anything we've seen before. It doesn't make sense. It's like a one and done. It's not like a portal.
Why didn't we bring Malcor? Fuck! I mean, do you want me to try and pull the rope out, guys? Like, do you want me to carry on with this? Like, this seems way above my pay grade.
I think this is about as much as we're going to get from there. Try and pull it out, see if something happens.
Okay, I will begin to start pulling the rope out, Matt.
Okay.
And I will plant that way, you tricksy DM. Not just like a tug. I'm going to plant my feet ready for resistance to be met in case, like, I don't know, some weird portal demon thing is holding it. Nif doesn't know how this shit works. She's just heard that Thog has said that Linvala... Now, as a member of the Dark Song Knights, remember that this person is hearing this. Linvala has a demon's arm attached to her. So I am now in very much militaristic mode, and I am planting myself
Okay.
with a good tug, and I'm going to pull on it.
And I'm going to cast guidance on Nith.
Okay. Doing so,
I
go
will pull out a few planks and put it right to the door. So if something does pull her, she would be at least stuck on the planks for a bit.
on. Okay. You pull on the rope. It is harder to tug back than it was to. There's more resistance pulling it back than there seemed to be as it went in. However, it's not. It's nothing compared to the strength of your arms here. And you pull the rope back out. The other end, the second it's out of this anomaly, the knotted end falls to the floor, and you're just dragging a rope back as if you'd just thrown it across the room. There doesn't seem to be anything pulling on the other end. The rope seems to be still just a rope.
Does it seem to have been warped or changed in any way?
It does not.
Huh. Well, I think I certainly have no idea about any of this. Maybe we come back here and investigate it with Mordekainen, if we can get to him, or maybe this thing has been happening in Barovia a lot. Maybe they have some knowledge as to what these things are.
Yeah, I think we ask around. We go to Valaki, we check that this Limvala character isn't there, and then we
Sorry.
and then we well, I'll get that. If I spend an hour, I can get that spell back, and we can cast it when we get to Valaki. Make sure she isn't there.
Don't you all think it's kind of convenient that one of these anomalies or whatever it is has appeared literally right next to the portal that we just came in on?
It's incredibly convenient.
What if she's scrying on us through
Precisely.
this tear? Or what if she's gonna send more minions through this tear so that when we come back to try to escape, we have to fight? So can't we rig something so that we know if someone comes in or out of this thing?
So I'm sure I've seen party members before use spells to alarm them to when things can happen.
Tia, do you have anything that could possibly, like a small trap or something, as Taffel says?
Tia is
Are you
muted.
What?
Do you have anything, any kind of, can you make some sort of device that would alarm us if anything came through that tear or lightning or whatever it is?
Depending on what kind of thing you mean.
Just something so that if we came back, we'd know, as Teffel suggested.
Don't think I have any of sort devices with me at the moment. But would a toy be useful?
Toy?
It kinda squeaks if you step on it.
But would we hear that if we're in another town?
Not in that sense, no.
I don't know how helpful that would be then.
Does
Although it
anybody
might be
have
funny
any
if a demon stepped out and stepped on a squeaky toy. But we wouldn't be there to witness it.
I don't have a long distance ability to do such things.
Wait a moment.
Unless you want to create a booby trap, that is also possible. Yes, Lavender?
Well, it is a little crude, perhaps, but I have this.
Lavender takes out a small bag of sand from her satchel.
Ooh.
I could kind of spill this on the area underneath the portal. If anything lands out of it, it will land in it. Perhaps not think anything of it, but we'll know it's been disturbed.
That's a fantastic idea, Miss Lavender.
All right, if we're in agreement.
Great idea.
Yeah, anything's
So,
better than nothing.
We could also put lots of silky ropes or something small around it as well.
Like a trap? Like a bag?
Something similar. Oh, we can also put
Or a
a tiny
snare.
rock on the other side.
Does anyone know how to make one? A snare? Any hunters among us?
It shouldn't be too hard, right? In terms of creating knots and such.
Will
I'm
we
not.
want to catch the thing that comes out of it, or would that alert it, or try and get out?
I mean, I'm
Oh,
pretty
they
sure
will be definitely alerted.
that it's been caught.
Precisely. If something comes through here, perhaps we can get the jump on it. I know we won't know what it is or it's gone, but we'll know something followed us to watch our backs.
I mean, I think that that's probably a good idea, but also maybe the sand, maybe so it doesn't look so suspicious. In case this is, as Taffel has quite rightly pointed out, suspicious in and of itself, that maybe this Ninvala or the Lelia character created this thing right where we've popped out and stuff. So maybe instead of putting everything around this portal, if they're going to come here to it or come through it, maybe we close the door, or just as we're about to close the door, you reach in through the door and put a line of sand to make it look like some dirt from the outside has maybe come through. And that way, if anybody opens the door or has walked through it, we'll be able to see which way the sand has gone to see whether they've come out or gone to it.
Sure, it works. I probably have enough to do both.
Both good.
sweet. Lavender will take out the bag of sand. She'll
Bag of sand.
She'll place as close as she can to underneath the portal. She'll post like a little circle of sand, and then do one with her mage hand in the back of the door as they're leaving.
Okay, good to know. You do manage to put your sand down very neatly and tidily, so you know if something disturbs it, you'll probably notice.
Sick. Mm-hmm.
Well, where to?
Valaki would be my guess.
Well then, people who have already been here, lead the way.
Thog, you look very strong. I suggest you go up front.
Works for me. That's all I intend to do.
Okay. Making your way down the dirt path and towards Valaki. Thog, you still remember perfectly well the way to go and how to travel here. Your walk is just as eerie as you remember in your previous visit to Barovia, with one noticeable difference, with that it's slightly quieter. Normally you'd be walking along these paths and there'd be a scratching, a bump, an eerie wind through the forests, but now it's nothing. It's misty and it's dark, but very little is disturbed or makes noise on your journey to Valaki. Only takes you about an hour and 15 minutes to get to the outskirts of Valaki, and you are met with a familiar sight, a walled small town with fortified gate in front of you. Similarly to last time, this large wooden gate is ajar ever so slightly, with guards posted outside. Though this time, as you are approaching the town, the guards seem to notice you, but make no effort to intercept or stop you, seemingly letting you go where you like when you like. The only other thing that of note as you approach the town is that adorned on either side of the main gate, you see banners with a very familiar symbol. A symbol you'll recognize, Thog, as the one that adorned Linvala's cheeks.
I thought so. Thog's going to point this out to the party and explain that this was on her cheek and glowed whenever she decided to cast magic.
That
It's
does
safe
not.
to assume that they are supporting her here then.
But the whole way through, Thog's going to be like really positive, like, look, she might have made bad choices of boss, but she's actually a good person as long as you can channel her extremely forceful personality.
As we go, Matt, can I keep an eye out and see if I can see any Vistani?
You can. So far, all the way up to this gate, you have not seen any sign of them. Are you continuing on?
Do you guys want me to?
Possibly.
Do you guys want me to cast that spell?
Maybe in private.
Yeah. I figured like before we get there, we'd stop for maybe an hour. I can do the ritual because it'll take a few of us.
If we do, there's one place Thog would like to visit, and that is the Church of St. Andrew.
Okay.
Before or after?
Because that is where Thog found her faith. Need to go check on, Lucian.
Definitely. That sounds like a great idea.
Okay. So along the road, I'm assuming at some point you will have done your ritual, Moreau, to.
Yeah, it takes a few of us. Yeah, I'll acquire locate creature. I just need 3 other people to kind of sit with me and do a bit of a seance.
Me.
And as we kind of get toward, just before we get to the gates, I'll detect locate creature naming Linvala. If you counter as being familiar to me now, with all the description that
I'd say familiar.
Thogs. Yeah. And so it lasts an hour, and I've got to just maintain concentration on it. And I'll just keep it in my thing as we kind of walk into Valaki.
Okay. Doing your ritual is not uncommon for all manner variety of entities or individuals to grant you this spell during your seance. This time, you are a little surprised as the individual that appears towards the end of your ritual is a very misty form of a young girl. Seemingly formed from the mists around you. They take the image of what you assume to be a Vistani. Small smile on her face and a nod of the head as she bestows upon you this spell before disappearing.
Awesome. That's really cool.
So, are you casting this spell as you get to the gates, did you say?
Yeah, I'd say probably maybe 2 minutes before, out of sight of any guards. Obviously, wouldn't want to freak anyone out, but enough so that maybe like 5 minutes has gone by of the spell when we get there.
Okay. You cast it and resume your journey towards the front gates. So far, there is nothing that you are getting from the spell to indicate Linvala is nearby.
Well, she's not within 1,000 feet of us. Well, I think we keep going. It'll ping if we get within 1,000 feet.
Oh, thank God. That means she's not within 1,000 feet to try and find us either.
As you enter the town of Valaki, Thog, you notice that even just through the gates, there is an atmosphere to the town that wasn't present before. While it's not exactly lively or vibrant, there is an energy about the people walking around. You can sense that there's no looming tension that you felt before. There's no it's not like they're being watched over as they did with under Strahd or under the burgomasters of old. They seem a little bit more relaxed, and you get less attention than you did when you previously entered this town from the locals. Also notably, lining the streets, just as it lined the gate, there are many, many banners to Lelalia, identical to the ones you have previously seen.
Okay.
Are
Sorry, please do go ahead.
looking around, is anybody wearing like insignia to Limvala, or like necklaces or pendants or patches or anything like that?
Give me a perception check.
I'll aid in that, so you've got advantage.
Sure.
A good dice box right here, and you're rolling on a table.
That's only 14 with advantage.
Only 14, did you say?
Yeah, sorry, 14.
Okay. Looking around the townsfolk that you see going about their daily business, there are no pendants, jewelry, branding of any kind that would make you link it to Lelalia or Limvala. However, you do notice that not a lot, but a significant enough for you to notice amount of individuals are wearing tunics, jackets, or some kind of dominant item of clothing that is dyed as close to the purpley colour that represents Lelalia as they can get. It's probably
But
only.
does it look like self-made?
They do.
or
They
official?
look self-made. Only maybe 15 to 20% of the people you can see.
God, we're all surrounded by cosplayers. Save us now.
Well, I think Thog visiting the church is a good guise as any, no? Have a little look around,
Yeah.
she whispers.
I mean, it would also,
I
as a tactical standpoint, it would also be good because, we could see the enemy behind enemy lines a little bit.
I like
Know
your
what
thinking.
kind of thing we're dealing with.
Maybe. And Thog's gonna try and whisper, but yes, Lucian is a good person. He's one of the very, very, very few good, genuinely good people with no caveats like Limvala. A very genuinely good person that I met in my time here, apart from my friends that I travelled with. If he's still here, that is still a good sign.
I would like to observe, on the contrary, in how many people might represent the Morning Lord in the population.
Give me a perception check.
I'll aid
Do
in
you
that as
know
well.
about the Morning Lord?
Based on how my thought had advertised it, yes.
Thog did
Oh,
hand out
that's
those
true.
motivational pamphlets.
That's
Yeah.
true.
If anyone wants a leveling cleric after this, just ask.
Passive perception being higher probably doesn't help.
I'll help you if you. I'll have been pretty looking out as well, just by his very nature. So if you want advantage,
Okay. In that case, 16.
Okay. Looking around, you also don't see any jewelry or any connotations of the Morning Lord anywhere. And unlike the clothing that seems to represent Lelalia, you don't see anything like that of the Morning Lord.
Do you think this is a good place to advertise, Fog? They certainly haven't heard about it.
It was a good place to advertise. Let's. I think there's a little bit. There may have been a change in management. I think we need to get to the church.
Oh,
Could
okay.
we be maybe finding something purple?
Thog looks down. I think I'm purple enough.
Yeah. Moreau is, if he gets a chance, would to dip behind somewhere. He would probably, or whose thing, just to use his glamour studded leather armor to make the accents on his jacket go from blue to purple.
Okay.
And Lavender will change the shade to match the shade of Limbala in her hair and on her clothes with the disguise self.
Okay, good to know.
Well, shit.
Hey, 1 out of
you need
5
anything?
people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know
1 out of
what?
5 people are purple. We don't all have to be purple.
Yeah, you know what? I probably wouldn't do it anyway. I don't
Would
want to
you
piss
need
off my
anything?
god.
Well,
I
and
mean,
we
I
can.
could get the purple ribbon if you want.
I'm perfectly fine, thank you.
Okay.
Fog, you want to lead the way?
Follow me. Thog's like a step forward with purpose. Not necessarily charisma, but with purpose. She knows the way to the church. God, does she know?
Okay. As you make your way through the town and towards the church, you are visited by the pleasant sight of the church to the Morning Lord Thog. It too seems to be now adorned with banners to Lelalia, and standing on the steps looking in your direction, waiting to meet you, you see a familiar face. Father Lucian Petrovich, only now adorned in bright purple and blue. Big smile on his face and hand out to meet you. Trying to shake your hand. Thog, it's good to see you.
To be honest, I'm going to take him in for a hug and be like, Father Lucian, I've missed you so much. How are you? But gently, because she's very strong.
You grab hands, lean in for this hug, and you feel something is passed to you as he does, but he embraces the hug. Oh, Lelalia be with you. How are you doing?
And Thog's gonna, just say, yes, indeed, Lelalia has been with me. I'm doing very well. She's gonna gesture, obviously, to everybody and point in the pack and say, I've made new friends. I've actually managed to make friends, Father. I'm so excited. Do you think do you think there'd be somewhere that we could talk privately so we could discuss my travels? We've travelled a very long way to get here.
Of course. Come on in.
Oh, thank you, Father. And then Thog's gonna turn around and look excited, but like a school child talking about their favourite teacher. Like, remember, everybody, be really polite to Father Lucian. He's a really nice guy. And then she's gonna turn around and follow him in.
Okay.
Do I pick anything up on the locate creature at all from where I am?
You do not. Making your
Then
way.
as we all,
Go on.
no. By all means, you go ahead. By all means.
As you make your way inside the church, it's very similar to once it was. It's not exactly decked out in finery or bright colours, but you can see a lot of the symbolism inside has been changed to that of Lelalia.
Okay.
Yeah, as you make your way in, Father Lucian takes you off to one side, to a small study area, where you can talk in private. Though there doesn't seem to be anyone presently in the church anyway.
Okay. While he does this, Thog is gonna drop Father Lucian a wink, and anyone else. Let's be completely honest here. Anybody else can see her do this. She's not even trying to be subtle because she's not very good at it. And she's gonna go, wink. Perhaps, Father Lucian, you could get perhaps some tea for me and my friends while I visit the bathroom. Wink.
Ah, of course. And he winks back, also not so subtly.
And then while Thog visits the bathroom, she's going to investigate what was passed to her.
Okay. You uncrumple this small piece of parchment, and it is very clear straight away what it is. This is one of the pamphlets you made to the Morning Lord.
Hell yeah.
That's it.
That's so cute.
That's a code.
That's a code for he's still my bro. Father Lucian for life, yeah. You know, everyone talks about Grove Street. They've never been to the Church of St. Andrew, I tell you.
That's a nice throwback there.
Thank you. St. Andrew would never betray you on a train mission, tell you to catch up the damn. But no, okay, so using the bathroom, I mean, goddamn, I don't know when I'm going to next get the chance. It feels like a bit of more than one adventure since Fog last used it. So we go back, because after checking the inside of the pamphlet on the other side to make sure there's nothing written on the back. He's been fooled before.
There is nothing written on it that you yourself did not write.
Just checking.
But making your way back to his office, everyone else has found a seat and is indeed being served tea.
So, you know, obviously, Thog will make introductions because she's polite. She knows how to be polite. She doesn't get the chance to express it too often, but she knows how. And she's going to be polite and introduce everybody, and then she's going to take a seat and say, Father, I see you've expanded your, winking at him so obviously again, expanded your wink message, wink, of the church around the place quite thoroughly. Business is booming, shall we say?
Yes, indeed. You did a fine job when you were last here. You'd be surprised just how many of us believe in the one true God, and just how many of us do not. Wink.
This is beautiful. Dog's going to, pat her, because it's always at her side, pat her hilt and pat the chain around her neck and say, I completely, wink, I completely understand, Father. I could never forget.
So, what brings you back to Valaki?
To be honest, Lewis is keeping full track of this, but Thog's he's got a bit over her, and she's just going to look around at the rest of the party and go, I think a more eloquent, someone here maybe more eloquent than I in explaining the situation.
Yes, as in rephrasing the question, what brings us to the Valaki? I don't know the answer, by the way.
I brought you to Valakitia, but I think he's talking in more general terms.
Oh.
We are enamored by the teachings of Lilalia, the one true God. And we are looking for where we may find her.
Ah. Up to no trouble again, are we, Thog? Up to no... you know what I mean.
No.
We here in Valaki do not go out of our way to find Linvala or get her or Lilelia's attention. As you can see, we do our best to be loyal servants, and as long as we are largely left in peace. I would assume if you wanted to find her, you would have to visit her residence up in the castle. However, when it comes to matters outside Valaki, I tend not to pay too close attention. My efforts are strongly dedicated elsewhere. And again, a wink is thrown at Thog.
Tell us,
Knowingly going to
Sorry.
tap her nose and then missing.
tell us, is it just Valaki that has the good word of Lilelia spread among it, or is it the whole of Barovia?
Well, thanks to my efforts, it is a lot more of Barovia than it used to be. However, I still have to focus my efforts here. But I have contacts now that I did not used to spread the true word.
And what sort of contacts might they be?
Well, it's nothing as grand as you see here, but we have set up small churches in the other settlements, one in Kresk and one in Barovia town itself.
And should we, if we need you, be able to contact you somehow via those churches?
I expect not. We do not keep constant contact. Barovia is still not a safe place, so travel between towns is limited to when necessary and for important reasons. But I am always at your disposal here and in any way I can be.
May I ask, do you know what happened to the Vistani? In particular, the ones led by a woman named Madame Eva?
You look at you see a saddened and almost painful look spread across his face as he sits back in his chair. Well, after Strahd fell, our new lady of Barovia, she was not a fan of the Vistani. She took them to be agents of Strahd in some fashion or not. Unlike us in Valaki, they are not a easily persuaded people. She did her best to root out the ones she could find and either dispose of them or drive them off. Because of that, I've not seen a Vistani in a very long time. Though I would not be surprised if they were still here somewhere. They just do not show themselves in such a bolder fashion as they used to.
Understood.
Father, I was wondering, in our time away, have the woods become any safer?
Surprisingly, yes, though I still would not consider them safe. Random attacks from creatures and wildlife does seem to have diminished, but nature is nature, so there are some occurrences still, and memory lasts a while in such small communities. That fear is difficult to shake.
And what about Lilelia's rule? How have things gotten for the people since she took over?
Well, we are interfered with less. Linvala has shown herself on a few occasions to address Lelalia's children and preach what she will. But she has always seemed preoccupied, like she has something else she would rather be doing. As long as we show the colours, hang the banners, and proclaim our love for the one true god Lelalia, we are more or less left to our own devices. In that respect, it is far preferable than it was under the Dark Lord Strahd.
So things have gotten better, you would say.
Better, but not good.
Small steps.
Understood.
Father. Small steps. There is one more thing I was going to ask, Father. I know. Obviously, we left her with you when we left Barovia, and I was, I jested about a little relationship, maybe a little joke. But I don't suppose. I suppose Stella Watcher is now still in good health.
Stella is indeed still our burgomaster here. She has done a fine job clearing up after the mess that was made from the previous two administrations.
Oh, thank goodness.
Like the rest of us, Linvala does seem to leave her well enough alone, so long as we keep in line.
And the folks going to wink. Praise be indeed.
Praise be.
Yeah, out of interest, I don't suppose wink that maybe wink. If anyone was to seek solitude away from the troubles of the world to get some privacy for their own thoughts, of course, so they can better contemplate Linvala's word naturally. Wink. And they happened to be resistant to being found magically. I don't suppose the name. She's going to come. The dog's going to come it's a long name, damn. And it's just going to Tesla, what was the name again?
Morden Kynan or something like that.
And then Mordenkainen. I don't suppose the name Mordenkainen rings a bell at all, does it, Father?
I'm afraid it doesn't. There are plenty of places in Barovia to collect one's thoughts in solitude, but given the danger of the land, we here tend to stick in small groups, like our lovely town here. If you're looking for specific individuals, Stella is probably your way to go. While I am a somewhat authority on religious matters here, the community at large tends to look to Stella for their leadership and their intellect, really.
Thank you. Speaking of religious matters, I don't wish to lower the tone at all, of course, because I'm very happy to, obviously, and she likes dogs looking around. You can see everyone can see she's quite excited, a bit like a puppy. She doesn't normally talk so much. She's really excited to see Father. Again, really happy. And, she's like, I don't, and especially now knowing Stella Watcher's still okay, but God, my goodness, amazing. I don't suppose you've seen any red glowing cracks in the sky or the ground.
Hiding in the rat hole.
Yeah,
I don't know.
like people going missing and then not coming back more so than the normal Barovian rate of missingness, at least.
I have not heard of such a thing. Many citizens of Barovia have gone missing in, well, all the time, really. But nothing that you speak of sounds familiar, I'm afraid. No red cracks. So
That's okay. That's good. That's good. That's good. And I just say, whew, big breath out. Oh, that's very good. And I don't suppose, of course, in Lelalia's, wink, magnificent and gracious name, that the bones of our beloved previous wink saints have been left undisturbed?
As I said, we are largely left alone, so yes, they remain undisturbed.
Oh, thank goodness. Oh, thank goodness. And the beacon is still alight?
It is indeed.
Oh, and it's like every single time that, like, Father Andrew's saying this, a line of stress that's always been there is just leaving Fog's face. Like, oh, yes. Oh, it's like the, just like, oh my god, I can't believe this. Just, oh, it's so good. Just like, coming to Barovia is hard, but suddenly everything's back to being good again. Woo! What a day. Um, yeah, out of character. Has anyone else got any other questions? Because, I'm fishing the best I can, but I can only do so much as Thog.
No, I think you're doing a pretty good job.
Yeah.
Oh shit, I'm in trouble.
Can't think of anything else without being too overt.
Okay. Ooh. Aha. Overt. That's a good word. That reminds me of something. Thog's going to say to Father Andrew, Father, I don't suppose, of course, wink, beloved be Linvalda's name, that she faced any sort of resistance to her holy word? Because obviously, wink, she's a religion of benevolence and kindness and forgiveness.
There initially were a few who were more outspoken. Those individuals soon went missing, along with, as I say, many others who do in Barovia, though I am sure that is just a coincidence. Wink.
Wink, of course. Everybody knows anyone who walks out of town dies of natural causes. Wink. Some would even say free-range organic. That's a term I learned in the city. Didn't seem to taste any different though. Just cost 3 times as much. But as long as you're well, Father, that's the important thing. As long as you're well.
Yes,
There's
me
I
and
don't
the
suppose.
religion are very well.
I'm sure they are. Wink. I don't suppose, like, Matt, generally, Matt, like, I'm going to ask Father Andrew, like, directly. Father Andrew, to be completely honest with you, we did not arrive in Barovia very long ago at all, and you know how things get weird around here. Do you know what time of day it is now?
I do indeed. It's mid-afternoon.
Do you think perhaps Stella would maybe entertain seeing me again and our party?
Thog, I doubt she has forgotten you. I am sure she would entertain seeing you.
Oh, that is good to hear. That is like a little tear's gonna come out of the sniff, sniff, wipe away. That's so good to hear. It's finally some good news out of Barovia.
He gives you a warm smile and a nod.
Things are indeed better. And of course. Sniff, sniff. And then she's going to pull herself together, but she's going to, of course, wink. Under the true faith, only continual improvements can be seen.
Indeed.
Well, should we head to this Stellar Watchers?
Is she still? Did she end up rebuilding the Burgomaster's residence at all, Father Andrew?
Unfortunately, there is still just a ruin where that once stood. It is a very large establishment to rebuild, and, well, in recent years we have not had the resources, manpower, nor willingness to rebuild such a monument to things past. Stella currently takes up residence in her old family home and conducts her town affairs from there.
Well, that's okay. And Thog's going to give him a meaning, like not a wink this time, but like a very meaningful look, and just say, I think I remember the way.
Excellent. Well, I hope to be seeing you again soon. It has been far too long.
Father, if and the Thog's going to just let him peek in her backpack briefly, and there's just obviously maybe a little bit crumpled from where Tear's been, but there's just a stack of pamphlets, and she just carefully tucks the one that she got from him very carefully, and obviously she's not actually very subtle, but she's trying, but and carefully tucks it in right next to the other ones, as if it had never been not there. And she's going, don't worry. I think, I know our visits are few and far between, and I don't know when we'll meet again. But the good word will continue to be spread so long as I draw breath.
He gives you the biggest grin yet and simply says, "Praise be."
Praise be. Has everybody finished their tea? And Thog's gonna quickly chug her half-cold cup of tea.
Yeah, I'm ready to meet more of your esteemed friends, Thog.
Good. I think you'll really like Stella. She again one of the very, and she she looks at Father Andrew for nodding, looking at Father Andrew yeah, I'm right, aren't they? Yeah. Like a good person, yeah.
He responds with a nod and a smile. You can see with this conversation, his happiness has just been growing throughout, and he's almost getting a bit emotional at this point.
Okay. Well, in that case, then Thog's going to say, could you guys just could you guys just wait outside a minute? I just just gonna catch up briefly with Father about a couple of matters.
Oh,
Of the faith, of course.
okay, but
No worries.
well, okay. I'll just hand Thor 2 teacups with warm drink.
Thank you.
Beth will be the last one out. Before she goes, she just kind of stops for a second and turns around and just goes, "It really was a pleasure to meet you, Father, and your great knowledge on a great many of things. Just one question that Thog here kind of absent-mindedly mentioned. Is it true that Linvala has a demon's arm attached to her?"
I knew you could ask. I knew you could ask.
Yes, it is. It is not something you would. It's not a pleasant sight, and if you're ever unlucky enough to get close to her, it is not a pleasant smell either.
Well, from one religious stalwart to another, as a member of the Dark Song Knights, knowing that there is demonic activity is very pleasing to hear. And she gives a smile and a nod towards Father, and then gives us kind of like a she looks at you, Thog, makes eye contact with you, and
Yep.
there's a sternness to it and a sympathy, but you kind of know that kind of resolution that's kind of behind it.
Oh
And
yeah.
she just gives a gentle, small nod to you, and then leaves the room.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Thug recognises that in the mirror every day.
That's so
Yeah.
good. Okay.
Yep.
Last mecha move.
Yeah. Well, no, he's Thog's talking to.
Oh, sorry.
Once
But yeah,
everyone
in the
leaves
mirror.
Thog, what is it that you are doing?
So once everyone's left, Thog's gonna. She's not going to take very long. She's just going to say, very, very, very quietly. I don't, and obviously Lewis isn't going to lower his voice too much because I might not pick it up properly. But she's going to say very quietly, I don't, just between you and me, I think I've really found another good group of friends. I think I've found people that, have the same potential to be as good as Limvala could have been.
Well, I am very glad that you are back on the road to happiness, Thog.
Thank you, Father. That means a lot.
Stay out of trouble. And, well, if you encounter your old friend, good luck.
Thank you. And then Thug will go for another hug because it's just she knows she probably won't see him again.
He will hug you back very tightly, or as tightly as a frail elderly man can manage.
That's all right. Thug will hug him hard enough to know she cares, not hard enough to hurt him. And a few tears may or may not be shed, because they will be.
As they will by him.
Indeed. And then just as Thug, obviously just as soon as he lets go, Thug will let go and just pull out a handkerchief from her arm and just mop his face off and mop hers and say, "Don't worry, Father. Every time I look in the morning sun, I think of you. And of course," and she just looks up, "of him."
He smiles at you and just says, Thog, whenever we have someone new to the faith, whether it is by your leaflets or not, I always think of you.
I miss you, Father, but I have to go.
Safe travels.
And Thug will leave.
Okay. Led by a more emotional than usual Thog, you make your way through Valaki, through the centre of town, and up north slightly towards the Watcher home. Thog being the one with familiarity more than anyone else, with a quick knock on the door, it swings open to reveal, again, a familiar face to Thog, that of Stella Watcher. At first, quite a confused look, also a hint of frustration as though being disturbed while in the middle of something else. And then with the recognition of Thog, a smile across her face, though not as warm as with Father Lucian. It's still one of friendliness, with a hint of formality. She steps to the side without saying a word, opens up her arm and says, Thog, and new friends, come on in. I'm sure there is a reason for your visit. I'm sure we have much to discuss. It has been too long.
It has indeed, Lady Watcher. It has indeed. my friends are as I and she's gonna wink at Stella again because she's got into it now. It's too late to stop this now. She's on a roll clearly. She's gonna wink at Stella and say, Lady Watcher, it is my humble pleasure, and then she'll obviously introduce everybody, and she'll wink again and say, these new companions I have found are part of a group, and then shut the door, who have the potential to do as much good as we did the last time we were here.
Ah. Well, that is definitely something worth discussing. Please come on in, have a seat. I'm afraid I do not have much to offer you in the way of food and drink at the moment, but anything else I can do to assist, I will.
That's quite all right, thank you, Lady Watcher. We have been to see Father Lucian at St Andrews, and he, of course, wink, reminds us that the one truth faith prevails throughout the land now. We shall continue spreading the good word, and he seems in incredibly good spirits.
Oh, I'm sure he was if he just met you. I will say you do not have to speak in code here, Thog. The rather overt winking is not necessary.
Thog's gonna look at her, and there's a complete lack of self-awareness, and she goes, "What do you mean overt?"
Sorry, it's probably not to others. We're just on a very similar wavelength, it seems.
Oh, right. Well, obviously, you've got the head for, falling into things, Carl. You caught me out straight away. I thought, it's only when Father Lucian started winking back that I thought he actually got me. It's just, I thought I look a little embarrassed, but nothing too strange, really. Just a little embarrassed. Of course, obviously, just it's so obvious. How did she not see that straight away? Okay.
If we can speak freely here, may I ask, how is it really under the Lilia rule?
It is more peaceful than it was under Strahd. That is easy to say, but I get the feeling that's not through the fact that we have a more kind-hearted ruler now, more one that has better things to do than torment the populace. I do have concerns of how long this peace and standoffish approach, how long it will last.
Do you think she is distracted with something? Planning something?
Well, distracted, maybe. I hope it is not a planning something, as, well, that would never go down well for the residents of Barovia, I'm sure. Nothing planned in that castle can be a good thing.
I don't suppose you know much here of these red lightning anomalies. Have you seen any? Have heard any reports?
Red lightning? I'm afraid not. We do see lightning from time to time, but it is usually situated up near the castle and is of your regular variety. The only other lightning anomaly that you may call it would be that of the hill to the southwest of here, but that has not been seen since the last time you were here, Thog.
Thog's having flashbacks of knives being thrown into a circle of lightning. Yep, I probably know why. You don't want to know. But it's a good thing. It is actually a good thing. It's just, it would take too long to explain.
Well, good. But other than that, no red lightning that I'm aware of. I'm sorry, no.
Have you heard of a wizard that's come through named Mordenkainen?
A wizard. I don't recognize the name, but perhaps I do know of with whom you speak. There are very few magically inclined that wander around Barovia, especially now Strahd is no more. The only wizard that I'm aware of is the Mad Mage.
The Mad Mage?
Mad Mage.
Yes, he's.
Every mage.
Well, I do not know enough personally to tell, but the Mad Mage of Mount Baratok. He's a common local legend. As implied in the name, he lives quite a solitary life up on Mount Baratok. A while ago, around the time I was recently released from my own madness, he was known for regularly traveling to the edge of Lake Zarevich and using massive bolts of lightning to fish. Maybe this is the anomaly you speak of. I do not know. He also used to travel to Mount Gakis every now and again, but that is a long time ago. He hasn't been spotted at the lake for many months, and outside of there, longer still.
A legend as recent as this is not much of a legend. Sounds like more of a lead, no?
She looks around at the rest of them.
I would agree, Lavender, Miss Lavender. It sounds like a missing persons case.
Basistas?
Let's get on the case.
Sunglasses come off.
Basistas? Das ist eine Madenwizard?
Yeah, Mount Baratok, is that far? Baratok, is that far?
From here, it is a few hours' walk to the base, and depending on how high you want to climb into the mists, maybe a few hours still from there. I must say, Mount Baratok is not one that is regularly visited by the sane among us. It is quite a desolate place. Hence why the rumours of this mad mage, it kind of fits the bill that he would reside there.
No, it's fine. I, for one, lost my sanity a long time ago. And
We've
I'm sure
noticed.
us coming to Barovia is an indicator of the rest of us.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Is there any particular reason you would want to find a mad mage?
If it's the person we're thinking of, he went missing. He may be in possession of something we need quite eagerly that may be able to do, as Tharg pointed out, some good here as well as from where we're from.
I see. Then may I ask, in your pursuit of this, please do not do anything that would bring repercussions on Valaki. Though no one ever seemed threatened or injured by this mad mage, no one really paid him much mind. So if you are interfering with things that are usually not interfered with, please bear in mind the citizens of my town when you do.
We will do our utmost to respect the people and the province. We always have done. things may get out of hand every now and again, but I like to think there is an overall net good.
Well,
Excellent.
yeah, of course, if this is who we think it is, he will hopefully be willing to come back with us. He should be an ally.
Well, if that's the case, I wish you luck on your hunt. Is there anything else you need of me? I am quite busy. And any other questions you have for Miss Stella Watcher, Burgomaster of Valaki, can be thought of and asked at the beginning of our next session, because we are going to have to end it there.
Sick.
Get
That's great.
brainstorming.
Awesome.
Oh boy.
Haven't spelled this
Oh my
emotional session since
gosh.
my child was born.
I spent that entire time with a grin on my face. Very nicely done, guys.
That was awesome, Matt.
Yeah.
So, gang, who's ready to do the one thing you all wanted to do in Curse of Strahd campaign and kill in Valor?
I
Thug
I
won't
shall
fight
touch her
her.
with kindness.
A thug will not directly fight her.
That's
It
fine.
will not happen.
Well, we
Alright,
will
sweet
see
Matt,
what
thanks very much.
happens in our next session. See
Which
you
is
in
in
2
2 weeks from now.
guys.
See
Yeah.
you in 2 weeks,
See you in 2
guys.
weeks.
Again, feel free for anyone,
Great.
if you want to listen in next week, go ahead. If not, it will be recorded. So,
Sick.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot,
Awesome.
Matt.
Bye.
see you in
See
2
you
weeks,
guys.
guys.
Bye.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.